y'all, and we're back, and we back with another reaction, y'all. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so when I do go live, you'll get it, okay? And if you haven't got your membership, please do. Y'all, this video is for entertaining, commenting, educating, criticism purposes, and to advise you all, these are my opinions and my opinions only. Now let me tell you what happened. A high school student, this young man standing behind his attorney, was on a school bus, on a high school bus, trying to get home before his autistic brother get home. And so what happened, y'all? He was pulled off the school bus, and he would pull from a school bus that he rides every day. Now, when I heard the story, I did my observation, I did my research, and what I come out with, my thinking is going to be at the end of the video. So he brought an attorney, and what we're going to do, we're going to turn it over to the young man and his attorney. He was tased, y'all. They tased him because he wouldn't get off the bus. Now, I know he could have did better than that. I know he could have did better than that. Hey, y'all. Hey, shit. But I know he could have did better with this, so what we're going to do is we're going to sit back. Now, make sure y'all get them lights up. We're going to sit back and we're going to watch this video, okay? This is a reaction channel, so what we do stop and start the video, okay? So listen from the beginning. Hold on, y'all. Come on, video. Just play it for me, okay? Hold on, y'all.
One, two.
Y'all ready? All right.
This morning we called this press conference one to allow Mr. Johnson Hunt to speak out. One, what transpired, what happened, and some of the misinformation has been provided in this matter. Let me say this first and foremost, that Mr. Johnson Hunt, Lanier, was on the right school bus. It was a dereliction of duty of the adults who had a duty to, one, ensure that a student is on the correct bus, which he was, and for his safety. I know been a lot of echoing, like, why did he just get off the bus? And we're going to explain this morning why it was imperative for Lanier to go home. And one of the reasons it was imperative for him to go home because he had an autistic little brother who was going to get home before him or right after him, and he had to be at home to meet his brother at home. So it was imperative for him to get home, not just to get there, but to ensure the safety of his little brother.
We've been here too many times. Too many times we've seen the use of force by law enforcement on black bodies in this state. And it has to stop. I echo what Attorney Daniels has said. I echo what our client is going to say in a few minutes. He was merely trying to get home to take care of his little brother. He was on the right bus. You know, I've seen the media reports, I've seen the social media comments all over the place. Let's be clear. He was in the right place at the right time to do the right thing. Law enforcement overreacted, and we all know that they have a very difficult job to do, but sometimes you need to check before you encounter. So I want to be clear. This will not be tolerated in Fulton County, in the state of Georgia, in the United States. We've got to do better, and it starts right now. This young man was merely trying to go home. This young man was merely trying to take care of his family. This young man's injuries to his neck are atrocious. And so we want answers, we want accountability, but most importantly, we want this to...
On his neck? I mean, they tased a young person on their neck. On the neck?
Stop.
I wanted to speak on the situation when I first received the phone.
Hold on. I know they ain't, no, they ain't just,
Law enforcement on black bodies in this state. And it has to stop. I echo what Attorney Daniels has said. I echo what our client is going to say in a few minutes. He was merely trying to get home to take care of his little brother. He was on the right bus. You know, I've seen the media reports, I've seen the social media comments all over the place. Let's be clear. He was in the right place at the right time to do.
okay, he was on the right bus, y'all. The high school student was on the right bus. We're going to get into our comments later.
The right thing. Law enforcement overreacted, and we all know that they have a very difficult job to do, but sometimes you need to check before you encounter. So I want to be clear. This will not be tolerated in Fulton County, in the state of Georgia, in the United States. We've got to do better, and it starts right now. This young man was merely trying to go home. This young man was merely trying to take care of his family. This young man's injuries to his neck are atrocious. And so we want answers, we want accountability, but most importantly, we want this to stop.
I wanted to speak on the situation of when I first received the phone call from administration, how they tried to play a completely different narrative. They called me and told me Lanier was on the bus trying to fight the police officer. He was actually on the wrong bus. They couldn't get him off the bus. They said that he gave the wrong name. Long story short, none of those things were true. He was on the correct bus. They never asked him his name. They asked another student what his name was. He was not combative. No, he didn't get off the bus after the second time because...
We're going to look at this video first, let them talk, and then I'm going to tell you my comment after.
They licked him off and put them back on the bus. No, he did not get off, but I just don't feel it. Tasing him in his chest was the correct thing to do. Like, not at all.
All the students have to get off the bus. So once all the students got up off the bus, I got off the bus with the students.
Hold on, y'all. They're not telling the whole story. Hold on. Let me find one from the beginning. That's not the whole story. That news right there not giving us the whole story. Because I just watched the whole story. Let me see. Is it this one? Hold on. They're not giving y'all the right story. And I don't want y'all to listen to the wrong story. I can find it. I tell you what. Okay. I hope they started right. Let me see. This is not the one I was looking at. Hold 1 second, y'all. Hold 1 second. This is not the one. Now, I can start it from him if they're going to start it right. Let me see. If they don't start it right from the beginning, I'm going to find the other news. But this is the young man that was tased on the bus. He was on the right school bus, and he was tased because he wouldn't get off the school bus, and I got a problem with that. But I got to find the right video first.
I know, it was just like a normal day at school.
Okay, this it, y'all. This it right here. You know, I got to bring y'all the right stuff. Okay, here we go.
You want to tell us what happened?
I know, it's like a normal day at school. I was just trying to get home, get on the bus. And as soon as I get on the bus driver told me that I was supposed to be on the bus. And today she gonna make sure I'm gonna get off the bus, so don't even sit down. So once I sit down, she pulled up to the administrators. And the administrators get on the bus. And they automatically thought I was on the wrong bus. When she told them my name, They got on the bus and just told me to get off the bus. At first I refused, and then when I was refusing, they said if I don't get off the bus, all the students have to get off the bus. So once all the students got up off the bus, I got off the bus with the students. And then as soon as we all get off the bus, they didn't check nobody's names. They just told everybody to get back on the bus. As I get back on the bus, they told me to get off, and that's when they called the officers. When I sit down, the officers had came on the bus. They asked who was the student they was talking about. And the bus driver had pointed me out. They came back. They told me they asked me to get off the bus. I had refused and told them that, well, I was trying to tell them this is my bus, but the students was telling them that this was my correct bus. All the students on the bus was telling them this was my correct bus. Then, out of nowhere, one of the officers had said, if you don't get up and get off the bus or we're going to tase you. I said, I still refused to get off the bus. And that's when they tried to pull me and grab me. And when I got back up, when I had got back up, he had choked me, tried to choke me, then he tased me. And when he tased me, I got up. I was still, I don't know, my adrenaline was just rushing. And I just know that he tried to tase me again while I was getting off the bus. I jumped off the bus. And when I was off the bus, they put me in some handcuffs. And the officer who tased me had started slapping me while my hands was in the handcuffs. He was slapping me, then he tried to tase me again while my hands was in the handcuffs. That's when the administrators came back outside and tried to break it up. But he was already in the midst of slapping me. And when they broke it up, he was still running towards me. He was still trying to attack me while my hands was in handcuffs. He was trying to push against the administrators who was holding him back every time he seen me. When I was in a room with the other officers after this situation, when he seen me, he tried to attack me again. They had to pull him back and pull him away to kill him.
Wow.
But when I was in the back room, they called the EMS. The EMS had checked me out and told them that I needed to go to Grady. And they said, no, I'm not going to Grady. I'm going to Rice Street. But the EMS told them, even if I go to Rice Street, I'm gonna still have to go to Grady first. So they volunteered, the officers volunteered to take me to Grady, and I did not go to Grady that whole day. I went straight to a police station, and they held me in the police station until they had gave me a ticket and sent me back home to my mother.
All right, wait, before he before he even say something, I'm gonna react on that what I just heard, y'all. And I know how the school system works. I know how long, y'all. Whew, Chad. I don't know why. Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. I'm gonna pause it and go back. I want to go back. Is this the right one? What one with him talking? Hold on, y'all. Okay, I'll come back to him. I want to go to the boy. Okay, I want to go to the young man, and I'm gonna go to the young man, then I'm going back to the mom. I'm coming back to everybody else, but I want to come back. I'm gonna come back to the little boy. I used to be a bus driver back in the 80s with the City of Atlanta school. And sometimes it can be tough on the bus driver, sometimes it don't. It be tough on it. And I was the driver for Kimberly Court, and that was one of the worst bus area that you could get on and work for. But I know children, I understand children. So it was kind of, But this young man's situation right here, y'all, I'm not taking sides for the police officer, I'm not taking sides for the school system, but I have a lot to say about the school bus driver Every school bus driver is supposed to know who ride their bus. All school bus drivers should be familiar with every student on their bus. All you supposed to be alert. Why did this happen to this young man? I don't know why did it happen to this young man, but the young man was on the right bus, y'all. Let me take this catcher off. The young man was on the right bus, and this shouldn't have happened to him. So let's get to it. Yeah, that's why I be telling folks that my voice, if you're working with the county school district, a woman's voice is going to change for that power. My voice got power behind it because I coach boys and I coach girls track, and it's not easy, y'all, dealing with young people. It's not. They're gonna yell, you're gonna yell, you're gonna get down on them. But this situation right here, and I have worked in some of the worst. I worked in some of the worst school system in Atlanta, Georgia. If anybody here from Atlanta can tell you that if I worked at Drew Elementary on Memorial Drive, that was one of the worst projects to work in. Drew Elementary. And they call them or something like that. That's how bad it is out there. But they like me, so they let me, But I want to get to the boy. I want to get to the student. That's one thing I don't do is mistreat students now. Even they right or wrong, I won't,
As soon as we all get off the bus.
I don't know why I didn't start for him.
Get him off the bus.
Let me let the mama talk. Hold on.
And so we want answers, we want accountability, but most importantly, we want this to stop.
I wanted to speak on the situation of when I first received the phone call from administration, how they tried to play a completely different narrative. They called me and told me Lanier was on the bus trying to fight the police officer. He was actually on the wrong bus. They couldn't get him off the bus. They said that he gave the wrong name. Long story short, none of those things were true. He was on the correct bus. They never asked him his name. They asked another student what his name was. He was not combative.
Well, first of all, if he ride that bus every day, there should not be a problem with him getting on that bus every day. Now, was Lanier on the right bus or was he on the wrong bus? That's what we got to determine off the paperwork. All bus drivers have their student's name. If he was on the wrong bus, the bus driver, and he wasn't familiar with the student, he didn't have nothing to do but pull his little book out with all the student's name on it and say, yeah, he on the right bus. But everybody's so mad, they don't even check behind their work to find out is this student. You got to follow the procedure. And it seemed like somebody don't care or somebody didn't follow no procedure because they should have known whether or not the boy was on the right bus. Only thing the administrator should have done was had the lead bus driver. They always have a leader out there. They should have an administrator. And they should have a counselor with everybody, with the front office is supposed to have everybody named with what bus they was on. This shouldn't have happened to this boy. And by the way, if you're going to get tased, you don't tase no child in the neck. Now, I don't agree with that. Now, I know sometimes kids can get aggressive, but still not tase them on the neck. And he's so little too, y'all. And they couldn't handle him with them muscles.
No, he didn't get off the bus after the second time because they lit them off and put them back on the bus. No, he did not get off, but I just don't feel it tasing him in his chest.
I don't either. I don't agree with that.
Like, not at all.
No.
All the students have to get off the bus. So once all the students got up off the bus.
Wait, y'all, they ain't saying, hold on. They got to start it out right. If you're going to start the video out right, start it out right. That ain't what he said. That before, let that boy speak all the way through. Let me see right here. Wait, hold on. No.
I have 120.
Hold on, y'all. Let me find the right one because they ain't giving y'all. I think this the right one. I think this the right one. I really want to get to the boys. Let me see. Let's get to the young man. Cause I want them to be able to tell the truth
And control the situation.
and let their baby talk.
And Lanier was
Hold on, y'all.
to go to the hospital.
Let me put it on Lanier. Here we go, y'all. I'm about to take it back to the baby. I want to hear what he got to say. I got them babies because they're young.
You want to talk about that?
I mean, I can.
All right, go ahead.
I really don't remember what I was thinking, but all I know that I was feeling scared in the moment. Once the officers got on the bus, they got on the bus very aggressive and acting like they didn't want to solve a problem. They just...
Were you in like a fetal position at one point against the seat? I'm trying to picture what the seat blocked by.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me take it back. Because I got to get this young man a fair chance to speak his thoughts, what happened. Because I'm believing him because I'm believing what he's saying. But I want to, here we go. Let's put it on right here.
I know, it was just like a normal day at school. I was just trying to get home, get on the bus. And as soon as I get on the bus driver.
First of all, he said it was a normal day at school. And that's what he said. It was a normal day at school. Now, this is when his day gonna go wrong.
Told me that I was supposed to be on the bus, and today she gonna make sure I'm gonna get off the bus, so don't even sit down. So, once I sit down, she pulled up to the administrators, and the administrators get on the bus, and they automatically thought I was on the wrong bus. When she told them my name, they got on the bus and just told me to get off the bus. At first I refused, and then when I was refusing, they said if I don't get off the bus, all the students have to get off the bus. So once all the students got up off the bus, I got off the bus with the students. And then, as soon as we all get off the bus...
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm trying to, hold on. Lenny, I'm trying to help you out. Hold on for a minute. Hold on. What's wrong with the bus driver? Where's the bus driver? That bus driver know before he got on the bus whether or not he's supposed to be on her bus or be on his bus. You know your students who ride the buses, y'all, because I used to drive the school bus. I know every student on my bus. Can't nobody sneak on my bus. Nobody sneak on my bus because I know who's supposed to be on my bus. Now, what was the problem of this young man getting on the school bus? He got off when he got on, and she said something about sitting down or don't sit down or something like that. But anyway, anyhow, he sat down. He got off the bus with all the other students. Why did they let him back on the bus? This sounds like somebody not organized, the administrators.
I know, it was just like a normal day at school. I was just trying to get home, get on the bus. And as soon as I get on the bus driver told me that I was supposed to be on the bus, and today she gonna make sure I'm gonna get off the bus.
Okay. Now, he said the bus driver said he's not supposed to be on the bus. Let me ask y'all something. This is what I'm listening from the bus driver. I'm hearing that. I'm visualizing that he was suspended. That's what it sounds like. She's saying, oh, I know you ain't riding the bus today because you suspended from the bus. It sounded like it was the administration. Then somebody didn't do something in the administration side. And she thought he was suspended. That's what it sounded like. The bus driver, when she approached him and said, oh, yo, you're not supposed to be on this bus. So it sounded like she's saying that, oh, no, you're not supposed to be riding bus today, Lanier, you suspended. But it sounds like he's not suspended from the bus. But it still could have been taken better than this.
Don't let sit down. So once I sit down, she pulled up to the administrators. And the administrators get on the bus. And they automatically thought I was on the wrong bus. They just, when she told them my name, they got on the bus and just told me to get off the bus. At first I refused. And then when I was refusing, they said if I don't get off the bus, all the students have to get off the bus. So once all the students got up off the bus.
But what the other students got to do with this young man getting off the bus? What kind of, this school, I seem like I used to sub at this school before. But still, regardless if I used to sub at the school before, why they made all them other children get off the bus? If this is the target man right here. Where is the, why did the bus driver pull her paperwork out showing the school that he's not on her list? All the drivers supposed to have the name of the student on a piece of paper, y'all. His name's supposed to be on the paper just like everybody else. When they let the kids up off the bus, all of them, they let this young man back on the bus. What the purpose of letting the kids off the bus and then put him back on the bus? Come on, system. That's why I had to hurry up and retire, because I seen it system going downhill. So I'm gonna have to give it to all the Atlanta and the cab teachers, because I tell you, I know what you're talking about. Because this shouldn't have happened to this young man. And it shouldn't have happened to my kid. Y'all put out my bus, because my child need to be at home. My teenagers need to be at home. See, y'all, what it is, they, in Atlanta, they let the high school children go home first. Then they let the elementary kids go, because somebody can be at home with them. But us middle school scooters, we get out the latest at 4 o'clock. Now, this is where I got a problem at. Why did they let all of them out and then lay him back on the bus? But call the police on the young man.
At first I refused. And then when I was refusing, they said if I don't
Hey,
get off
baby.
the bus,
Hey,
all
Chet.
the students have to get off the bus. So once all the students got up off the bus, I got off the bus with the students. And then as soon as we all get off the bus, they didn't check nobody's names. They
See?
told everybody to get back on the bus.
Thank you. Now, he just said what I said. This young man just said what I said. Now, a soul checked the road to see he supposed to be on that bus. He just said what I said. They didn't check. That's what he said. He let us off the bus. They didn't go by one with no counter. Somebody did their job, y'all. This don't look good on the school administrator, the school bus administrator, and the driver, and the administration. I see problem on those three. Because it's no way I'm a school bus driver and I don't have no name of all my students where they sit. I supposed to, because when I'm absent, you'll know who on my bus and where they sit at on my assigned bus. But it's something about this bus that somebody ain't doing their job, or they don't have a regular bus driver. Something going on right here. Because just like this smart young man, see, he know the rules like I do. They supposed to check your name to see that you belong in that bus. Why they treat him like that? I don't care if he the baddest booger on the bus. Still, if his name on the list, he's still supposed to be able to get on that bus. And this little boy right here, know he right. They didn't even check the name. They didn't even check their name. Negligence on their end, on the administration end.
Get off the bus, all the students have to get off the bus. So once all the students got up off the bus, I got off the bus with the students.
This Atlanta, y'all.
And then as soon as we all get off the bus, they didn't check nobody's names. They just told everybody to get back on the bus. As I get back on the bus, they told me to get off. And that's when they called the officers. When I sit down, the officers had came on the bus. They asked who was the student they was talking about.
Why did they put him back on the bus, y'all? Hey, Chet, how y'all doing? I'm glad y'all here. I'm not ignoring y'all, okay? I'm so hot and angry because they let them off the bus. They didn't even check the road to see who's supposed to be on the bus. Administration ain't even come out there with a roll to see what the boy's supposed to be on the bus. Y'all, these kids got special right. They got ride different bus for different reasons. And I'm so angry right now because they mistreated this boy. How you gonna let the kids out the bus and then turn around and police on the boy and let the boy back on the bus? I mean, I'm so sick of the system. I just, and y'all, it make it so bad. I wasn't even ready to retire, but I had to leave. Because I got tired of protecting kids. I protect these students for their parents when the parents got to work. God, it's so hard.
The bus driver had pointed me out. They came back. They told me they asked me to get off the bus. I had refused and told them this. Well, I was trying to tell them this is my bus, but the students was telling them that this is my correct bus. All the students on the bus was telling them this was my correct bus. Yeah.
And all the students is telling everyone he's on the right bus. Believe me or not, if them kids gonna talk, if you ain't on the right bus, they're gonna say, no, he don't. Yes, he is. No, he don't ride this bus, but they didn't hear none of that. They just heard he on the right bus. It regarded, y'all asking students, is he on the right bus, or a student just applying that he on the right bus? Where's your roll at? Where's your paperwork? Where's the roll showing every student on your bus? That's the only thing they had to do with this baby, y'all. Would look at the roll and say, oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize. People don't like to apologize. You're on the right bus. He was on the right bus, y'all.
Or one of the officers had said, if you don't get up and get off the bus, or we're going to tase you. I said, I still refuse to get off the bus. And that's when they tried to pull me and grab me. And when I got back up, when I had got back up, he had choked me, tried to choke me, and he tased me.
Why are they handling this? This what my thing is. Let me take a deep breath. Let me take a deep breath. Why are they handling this child like that? Officers don't usually do that, y'all. They know children, so you have to talk in a teenage mind. I work with teenagers. It's the way you can talk to them too, and they'll do what you say do. Something that boy challenged him. He didn't want to get out the bus because he was on the right bus. But he could be right. Why is they kicking me out my bus? Would I ride? Why did they kick him out his bus? I feel so sorry for the boy. Because he was taken advantage of.
And when he tased me, I got up. I was still, I don't know, my adrenaline was just rushing. And I just know that he tried to tase me again while I was getting off the bus. I jumped off the bus. And when I was off the bus, they put me in some handcuffs. And the officer who tased me had started slapping me while my hands was in handcuffs. He was
Man, what wrong with the officer, y'all? Y'all doing this to somebody else's child? Y'all, this is not necessary, but I'm going to tell you something. Something wrong with it. This situation tells me that something is allegedly wrong with that administration. Because that's not supposed to happen. And I used to be a bus leader. Now, what's one I had to be since I was in the gym, a coach. You know they're going to get a PE teacher's bus duty. I was on bus duty before I retired in 2019. I had bus duty. And I seen the same kids getting on the same bus every day. And if they try to get on the wrong bus, I'd say, come on, man. 'Cause every PE teacher like me, we know every student in that building. We know every student in that building. It's strange, ain't it? But the PE teacher, we know every student in that building. We'll say, come on, Mike. Come on, Lanier. Come on, Speedy. Come on, get out the pub, man. Don't put yourself. Don't get into trouble. That's how you got to talk to kid. But it seemed like to me it's not his fault.
Me, then he tried to tase me again while my hands was in the handcuffs.
Why that boy handcuffed?
That's when the administrators came back outside and tried to break it up. But he was already in the midst of slapping me. And when they broke it up, he was still running towards me.
What's wrong with the
He was still trying to
police?
attack me while my hands was in handcuffs. He was trying to push against the administrators who was holding him back every time he seen me. When I was in the room with the other officers after this situation, when he seen me, he tried to attack me again. They had to pull him back and pull him away to cool down. But when I was in the back room, they called the EMS.
I'm going to tell y'all something. It was verbal messages going back and forward. But that was verbal. I can tell that the boy was talking back to the police officer. When he said this part, I can tell. But it doesn't matter. Kids his age, they talk back. They disrespectful. They talk back. They upset too. They're gonna say things that I know he was talking back to that officer. I know. Cause his mouth was shut, the officer won't come towards him. But it doesn't matter.
And when he tased me, I got up. I was still, I don't know, my adrenaline was just rushing. And I just know that he tried to tase me again while I was getting off the bus. I jumped off the bus. And when I was off the bus, they put me in some handcuffs. And the officer who tased me had started slapping me while my hands was in the handcuffs. He was slapping me, then he tried to tase me again while my hands was in the handcuffs. That's when the administrators came back outside and tried to break it up. But he was already in the midst of slapping me. And when they broke it up, he was still running towards me. He was still trying to attack me while my hands was in handcuffs. He was trying to push against the administrators who was holding him back every time he seen me. When I was in the room with the other officers after this situation, when he seen me, he tried to attack me again. They had to pull him back and pull him away to cool down. But when I was in the back room, they called the EMS. EMS had checked me out and told them that I needed to go to Grady. And they said, no, I'm not going to Grady. I'm going to Rice Street. But the EMS told them, even if I go to Rice Street, I'm going to still have to go to Grady first.
Boy, they didn't want the boy to go to the hospital after they done tased him in the neck. In the neck, y'all. Not in the arm, in the leg, but the neck. And they said they were going to take him to jail first instead of to the hospital. Why not take him to the hospital instead of the jail? Because he got to go anyway. They don't like him for some reason.
So they volunteered, the officers volunteered to take me to Grady. And I did not go to Grady that whole day. I went straight to a police station, and they held me in the police station.
Wow.
Until they had gave me a ticket and sent me back home to my mother.
Boy.
How this family can eat whatever they want.
Oh, I didn't want to know, was he on the right bus?
Like I said, we want to put this in context. As you can see, that it was just not an incident that took place on the school bus. That's what we call an officer is
hold on, let me make sure. Hold on.
Force.
Let me make sure he finished. I want to make sure he get his chance to speak.
Back room, I called the EMS. EMS had checked me out and told them that I needed to go to Grady. And they said, no, I'm not going to Grady. I'm going to Rice Street. But the EMS told them, even if I go to Rice Street, I'm going to still have to go to Grady first. So they volunteered, the officers volunteered to take me to Grady. And I did not go to Grady that whole day. I went straight to a police station, and they held me in the police station until they had gave me a ticket and sent me back home to my mother.
All right,
So say, hey,
we want to put this in context. As you can see, that it was just not an incident that took place on the school bus. That's what we call an officer is rendering what we call gratuitous force. Force is not necessary. We don't believe the force on the school bus was necessary or warranted. especially when our client was in handcuffs. And this was a out of control officer, out of control, completely unhinged.
He was out of control.
You see the video of him using profanity
What?
towards Lanier, and the fact that he's trying to, according to Lanier, he's still trying to go after him.
I don't understand all of that force for little Lanier, and what happened to the muscles that the officers has? Why they had to tase him his neck, y'all? They tased him on his neck. And you could tell his mama to go by the school rules. The boy in uniform in high school. He in uniform. What seniors you think want to wear the uniform?
You know, Lanier may weigh 130 pounds.
Right.
You had these two officers, grown men.
Grown men.
That could have easily handled and controlled the situation.
This is Atlanta, y'all.
Afraid to go to the hospital with him.
Fulton
He wanted
County.
to go to the hospital. He just didn't want the officer to take to the hospital, especially an officer who was continuing to try to assault him, but he was in handcuffs. So, like you said, it's more to this story for all the ones who talk about he should get off the bus. Well, when he got off the bus, they put him in handcuffs. He was still being assaulted. See, it's more to what you see
Right.
in the video.
Got to be more.
You know, and it's the reason why we believe why Fulton County and the Fulton County police department
Shannon
this
Willis.
individual. What's his name?
Jimmy Dirty.
Dirty. So, you know, we just want to make sure that his story get told. Next steps, we'll see what next steps are. I know a lot of questions. What's next? Well, first and foremost, we all want accountability for those who are responsible. And what I'm hearing is just
What I'm hearing is the officer in the school system is wrong. The bus driver system is wrong. They ain't have no business putting that boy off that bus like that without checking to see what his name on that road. They wrong for that. And the police department made it so bad when they got on there doing that little bitty boy right there. Like, you know, little people, they strong. But still, that's a kid. The officer must not been having a good day.
the officers, but also some, and I said before, some missteps by possible bus driver and administrators.
Right.
And those things should be they should be held accountable for their actions and investigated so this type of incident don't happen again. With that being said, we're going to open it up for some questions.
So to be clear, Lanier, was he charged?
Yes, sir.
So-
Okay, what was the charge?
I had a resisting arrest.
Can you step up to the microphone?
Yeah, so what are you charged with?
Resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, and obstruction.
Resisting disorderly conduct and obstruction. And also, he's currently under suspension. I know we're on the Christmas break, holiday break, and he's currently on suspension from the school, to my understanding. Is that right, Mom?
Yes, sir, for 10 days.
So that's something that we actually have to deal with as well, particularly this incident and how this incident arose as to whether the suspension should have been warranted in this situation, especially when you're aware now that he was on the correct bus.
Wow.
You gonna get to him, Mama? You gonna get to him?
That boy was on the right bus, y'all, and got tased for being in the right place. Oh my God.
Mama?
The first one is, why in the first place was he even identified as someone who may be on the wrong bus?
Right.
First question, just want to answer that question.
Yeah, so that question, we don't know because that's the same bus he rode every day.
Right.
Was the same bus driver?
Yes, but like she's new. But
Good.
she came a couple months ago. Yeah, like a month or two ago, and she liked to pick on the boys. We feel like it's we realize.
Oh, I knew it was something behind this, y'all. I knew it because I done been a bus driver before. I knew something was wrong with this here. I knew something was wrong. She's a new bus driver. She's been there just for a month, about 2 months ago. She don't even know her kids. Her kids is upset that they got a new bus driver. They don't want her to be their bus driver. No way. Because he just said she pick on boys. No, no. They don't, she don't know her students. I knew it was a bus driver that didn't know her student good or has, or didn't want that route. Don't nobody probably want that route. I knew it was something behind it. I knew. She's a new bus driver.
She be picking on the boys. Like, we have other situations of people who's supposed to ride the bus, and she had them get off the bus. Like,
So you had ridden on that.
So she's putting children out. Y'all, that's the. I'm gonna tell you something. Who he need to sue? He need to sue Fulton County bus service, school bus service, because this that lady, the driver, it's her. She the fault in this.
Was with that driver repeatedly prior to that?
yes, sir.
And let me stop for a second. And that's why, let's go back to his question. That's why it's such an anomaly. He was just on the bus. He rode the bus. So I'm the question as to whether the bus driver have a memory issue.
That's what I'm saying. Ain't right.
Is a female bus driver. If that's the case, you should not be driving children. If you can't remember from the day before a child get on your bus from the next day, so
You said of Kathy. Kathy never do wrong. That's all y'all do is get money off. I don't see in this situation, baby. I really don't see where it was his fault. I'm not on nobody's side. I'm always on the true side because I work with the system. I retired from the system. I see a lot of stuff. But in this situation right here, she's not a regular bus driver. She's not a regular bus driver. They tased this boy. If somebody tased your child, you better do something about it. They ain't have to tase that boy. I said I don't care if he the big bad wolf on the bus. If that's his bus, he got to go ride it and go home. And I don't enough money for that mark he got on his neck. He got a mark on his neck from being tased on the neck, y'all. On the neck.
That's a great question you asked. So we don't understand why did she assume that he didn't supposed to be on that bus. We just rode the bus.
This is probably a better question for the district, but it seems to verify that I would imagine they have a roster of names and who goes on bus A, B, C, D, E. What happened between the time the bus driver said he shouldn't be on it to the mess they're doing that?
Well, I think that is a great question for the district, but my response is nothing. They didn't do their job. They could have easily checked. And the bus.
That's right.
I mean, to my understanding, the school bus is like an extension of the classroom. Who's supposed to be on this bus? Because you got to ensure child safety, the safety of the children.
That's right.
Work to school. So they could have easily been verified. It was verified at mom.
This is so unnecessary. This is so unnecessary. If people would do their job, if they do their job, y'all, that's why I had to go. I had to go. I had to leave. I love the city, but I had to go. I had to stop being, I wasn't even ready to retire in my 60s because I'm still healthy. But these kids were the one that I was worried about before I left. The kids. While the parents worked, I had to be their backbone, y'all. I had to be their safe haven. But this shouldn't even been accounted for. This shouldn't have happened.
On the right bus, it could have been verified the day of. It would have not been here today. Next question.
Well, how old are you?
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Here you go. I'm trying to be fair to the women, everybody out here. Go ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
How old is the younger sibling that you?
How old is the king?
To what extent is this sort of routine for you to go home?
He's 6 years old. So even if he didn't have autism, he's not old enough to be at home by himself. So his big brother would go and make sure he was
right.
Hey, go ahead.
How old are you and what grade are you?
I'm currently 18 and 12.
He's 18.
Seems like a nice boy.
So no plans in place right now for any specific legal action against the school district or the bus driver or the officer?
Well, I knew you was going to ask that question. So let me just say this. first and foremost, our first step is to get Lanier back in school. All right, the suspension, we'll be working with the school and with his mother to see can we correct that issue. And move from there. You know, it's always
Y'all shouldn't keep that boy out of school. He don't even look like no troubled senior. Let that boy back in there. Go on, let that back in there. They'll have to dismiss the lawsuit. Y'all want to do it that easy. But if y'all ain't gonna do it that easy, then keep him suspended.
sheriff to whether legal action be taken in these cases. I mean, at the end of the day, you see his neck, you see his body, you know, that's injuries, you know. So when you look at those things and somebody's responsible for those, and it's sometimes the only way you can hold those accountable is by bringing legal actions. So let us be clear that we're going to seek every avenue from administrative as well as all the way up to the United States District Courts and the federal courts to get redress for Mr. Lanier for what transpired. Because it's not about in Fulton County School, and I hope they're right. You know, I've had rumblings there. They may be wrong that this officer had prior incidents and bad acts and conduct, but it's an isolated incident.
But aren't these Fannie Willis boys? Fannie Willis, aren't these your boys who's not protecting the system? Fannie Willis, oh Fannie Willis, aren't the police your boys who's supposed to be protecting our citizens and our kids? Fannie Willis.
That, according to him, but other people tell us this is not isolated with this officer. That he tased another child on another.
What?
You know, we haven't verified those things, but that's what we're being told. So we want to ensure that one, accountability is not just for Lanier, but everybody else child that go to Fulton County to Langston Hughes High School or any other school.
Fannie Willis. Fannie Willis. These are your boys doing this to this boy right here, to this student. These are your boys. Fannie Willis, Fulton County. Huh? Oh, Fannie Willis, Fannie Willis.
Within the state of Georgia. And those are the main things that we are pursuing here. It's not just about, and I have a good friend that always say this, these cases are not about finance. These cases are about family. You know, your family, my family. And Mr. Griggs said it, we're thankful that Lanier is here. I know some of y'all I've done stories with, and I see some familiar faces. We had cases where the mom and the family members on the stand here because the person is no longer here. You know, when you bring a gun to a incident, you never know what's going to happen. And we're just thankful that Lanier is here to tell a story. Any other questions?
Lanier, I want to hear a little more about your state of mind. What were you thinking and feeling in those moments? A lot of people are saying you should have just listened to the cop and dealt with it off the bus. What was going through your mind? Would you step up?
You want to talk about that?
I mean, I can.
All right, go ahead.
I really don't remember what I was thinking, but all I know that I was feeling scared in the moment. Once the officers got on the bus, they got on the bus very aggressive and acting like they didn't want to solve a problem. They just...
Were you in like a fetal position at one point against the scene? I'm trying to picture what the scene was by the camera.
No, I was actually just shaking. I wasn't in no fetal position. I was just shaking my head. Yeah. Oh.
See, that's what I said. That's what I said. Was there any verbal transferring? You know, were they any fussing? What was it in the verbal communication going on? That's what I think. I wanted. Was he talking? Being disrespectful to the bus driver, not to the police officer.
The school bus driver that just ridden that bus numerous times before.
Yes, sir, I have, and the whole bus was saying it. So me and all the other students on the bus was telling the bus drivers, the administrators, and the officers that I rode the bus.
Yeah, so it was not just Lanier. The other students were saying he on the right bus. they would know. They see him every day. This is friends. They know he's on the right bus. They live in the same neighborhood with him. So, and that's a question you asked, but let's not just focus on the incident of why you just didn't listen to the officer.
Right.
He told you after the fact that when he was in handcuffs what the officer did. So that's another component to this case, particularly of the officer's mindset. I was working law enforcement in North Carolina.
I wonder what Fannie Willie's saying now. Because these are her boys. These are her police officers. This is her county, Fulton County. You don't hear this in Fulton County, y'all. Not in Fulton County.
And one thing that you definitely talk not to do, when a person is subdued, handcuffed, non-resistance, you use no force. It's over. And even after the fact, according to Lanier, and we'll get the body cameras. I mean, after we seen the video camera taken by one of the students on the bus, the cell phone, but we get the body cameras and see what that body cameras show after the fact. And if this officer was the model officer, Mr. Grigg, and he did everything right, I'm sure Fulton County would have suspended him. So it's more to this story.
Right.
It's going to come out. And I echoed before, it's more to the officer past conduct that's going to come out as well. Any other questions?
The situation in broad brush, but in light of how that officer acted, we call for some type of review of the policies and procedures when it comes to the school district police department.
Right, absolutely. We have school resource officers. Those officers should have some type of temperament and training because you're not dealing with the public per se at large on the street. You're dealing with ambitious, vulnerable, young youth students. And you should have some type of measure, particularly dealing with students.
That's right.
He treated Lanier like he was somebody downtown.
He sure did. He treated Lanier like Lanier was one of them folks he could just grab by neck. I don't know what was wrong with that officer that day.
For MARTA bus.
I'm gonna have to ask Fannie Willis.
School bus. You got to put that in context. Girl, we talking about a school bus. One, he's a student that's in school.
Right.
And doing what we all supposed to do, go to school, get your education, graduate.
Right.
And the issue was, well, you're not getting off the bus, and the officer immediately resorted to violence. It's violence. There's nowhere you can cut it. It's a violent encounter that was not warranted.
Oh, Fannie Willis.
Mr. Griggs and I, if we want Lanier to go to this car over here, we can grab him and pick him up and take it over there. But using a taser to burn his body, these are going to be permanent scars.
Yeah, they scarred that boy. They tased that boy on the neck. Come on, officer. Come on. Fannie Willis. I'm going to tell Fannie Willis on him. That's what I'm going to do.
He's going to be permanent on his body. He may be 40 years old and these scars still may be.
The scars still going to stay on him.
How much do you weigh?
Around between 115 and 120.
Oh, yeah, they ain't have to do him like that.
Did you ever get medical attention? You mentioned you never had.
I did, but the next day.
How you doing now?
Here's one thing before you answer that. Here's one thing I want to.
Wait a minute. They didn't send him to the doctor that day. They sent him to the doctor the next day. Wow, what's wrong with these people?
Clarify and make sure people understand. In Georgia, regardless if you're a high school student or a regular student on the street, regular person on the street, if you are unlawfully encountered, you have an absolute right to question that encounter. And so for those who are saying, oh, he should have just obeyed the officer, he should have done what the officer said, that's not what the state law and the state constitution say. So I need people to understand, as Mr. Daniels
Okay, so some people saying he should have just got out the bus when they told him to get out the bus. Okay, so all depends on his mama, how his mama is. Now my children would have got out the bus. My children would have got out the bus and be glad to call me and to sit up there and wait on me. They would have got out the bus. Because they were gonna have to get him home. The bus driver even if they left him at that school, that bus driver gonna have to dump them kids out and come on back home. But y'all can't speak for why he didn't get out the bus. He got out that bus because he know how his mama is. Mama said, get on that school bus, but be at home when that boy get out of school, because we need him at home. And he thought that he wasn't gonna be on time and he wasn't at home. He never did make it home. He never did make it home to see his brother. So I wonder who met the brother at the house. That's something interesting to ask. Who was at home? Who left his little brother? Who let the little brother in the house? Because he didn't come home.
Simply because he goes to this school, and Tinker versus Des Moines will tell you that he doesn't shed his constitutional rights. And so for him to be on the right bus
Right.
at the right time
Right.
and to be assaulted like this is atrocious.
Right.
And for the ticket that was given to him, I'm sure the solicitor, when he reviews the case, will recognize that Georgia allows for people to use their constitutional rights to question an unlawful stop and an unlawful detention.
Man, they in trouble.
In a Georgia zip code and have zero.
They in trouble. See them. They
last
sit.
5
Ooh, Fulton. Ooh, Lord, how much? Ooh, Fanny Willie, Fun. Ooh, Fanny gonna be mad.
Now, I'm doing all right, but my body, like where my chest, where I got tased at, it still burns. Like
That's his nerve.
it feel like I be on fire, literally.
That's his nerve.
It burns so bad, like I be in the house just making noises.
And how do you feel about coming back to school when it starts back up?
I'm not against it. I still come back. But
Mom, you want to...
Yeah, we got a couple more questions. Come on, Mom. That's right.
Mom, just that your son did the right thing. It's happening. As a parent,
Like I said, when they first called me, the narrative they played was completely different. And I was like, okay, if he did something wrong, then you guys handle it. But then when I got the complete truth, it hurt because, like, at the end of the day, he was on the right bus. He didn't lie to anyone. He wasn't trying to fight the police officer.
Right.
And if they genuinely just would have asked, they would have knew that he was on the right bus.
Right.
Like, and it's just scary because he could have died. Like, you tased him in the middle of his chest. He could have died. That's the only thing I think
Sure
about.
could have with that tase.
No matter which way it goes, no kid is perfect, no family is perfect, nothing is perfect. But the police officer was out of line with that completely. It could have been handled a whole nother way.
Has the principal reached out to you? Have you heard anything about suspension?
They didn't reach out to me. I came the next morning because, like I said, when I originally spoke to them, they told me Lanier was going to jail. For 4 hours, I had no idea where my son was at. They called me back and said they were bringing him home. Then the administrators called and was like, hey.
See, that's why I asked that question. Where were her son at, the 6-year-old that be at home by himself? Because her brother, his brother wasn't there with him. So was somebody at the house?
Lanier is at Wright Street. We gave him the numbers, and I'm like, no, ma'am, I just received a phone call from the police. They're bringing him home. This is 4 hours later. So you guys just had my child somewhere for 4 hours. No one's telling me what's going on. No one's communicating with me. And still didn't get an apology when I came to the school Friday.
Did the school tell you that he was on the right bus?
When I spoke to the administrator, and he looked it up, and when I spoke to Mrs. Green that day after Lanier got home, and he told me that he was on the right bus, and I was speaking to him.
Wow. Y'all did all of this because the boy was on the right bus. I would say, do what you do, Mom. Do what you got to do. Wow, this is crazy.
Mrs. Green, and she was looking it up. She said it is 2 buses that come in our subdivision because our subdivision is so large. And both of those buses, the children are either one of them they're allowed to ride either one, and Lanier was on the bus. So.
And Lanier was on the bus that the bus driver didn't like him. Because they had 2 buses, a load of kids. And he was on the bus that didn't want him on there. So it sounded like Lanier decided not to ride the bus that he usually ride on. That would sound like. But still, they should have a road list.
Those are our buses. Same bus he's been riding for the last 2-3 years. Shouldn't have been a problem.
Shouldn't have.
And it's kind of happened 2 weeks before. The bus driver was told this was his correct bus by administrator, so we never should have got there on Thursday. Never.
All right. One last question.
How long is the suspension? Is it indefinite? A couple
It's 10 days. It's a 10-day suspension. Listen, guy.
10 days. They gave him 10 days. They gave that boy 10 days for nothing. They gave him 10 days for nothing. She just said they do have a road. But they didn't even look at the road list. Yeah, see, we all know it. I used to be a bus driver. I know we got a road list. I know we did. They wouldn't look at the road list. They wouldn't look at the road list at the time. I feel so sorry for the boy. Y'all,
Thank you. We'll keep y'all updated as this
is so sad.
Forward. Up until we have to file a federal lawsuit. Hopefully we don't have to get to that point. But we are going to seek all redress for our client.
Well, I hope the young man get justice because the boy needs justice. And justice is not suspended. And I hope he did sue him. I hope the mom did sue them. But this wasn't supposed to happen, y'all. This is not supposed to happen, y'all. Everybody got a list of kids that's supposed to ride their school bus. Even the administrator's supposed to have a list. Yes, they had bus service people supposed to have a list of kids that drive those bus service. I know exactly how it goes in Atlanta and Fulton County. I know how it's supposed to go. And for them to know that boy name was on there, they didn't even check to see what his name was on the list. And let all the kids off the bus and then let the kids back on the bus. And then call the police on him. I don't know what was going on that day. Y'all like, share, and subscribe. I'm out. And enjoy your Happy New Year. And I will be back.